Hello everybody. I was out here today. A guy had asked me to do a video about what I do with scent control. So here you go. My scent control stuff is pretty it's pretty simple. We're out here in the snake den out here. Y'all seen 2 rattlesnakes I've encountered out here while I was filming, and there's been countless more y'all don't know about. So that's where we're sitting right here. Just keep an eye behind me. This eastern diamondbacks live, they thrive, and always have right here. I live on the edge of a big swamp on a kind of a sandy soil hill, pine trees and palmettos. But anyway, my scent control is pretty basic stuff. There's no, there's nothing special that I do uncommon to what anybody else does. I you can't be going hunting wearing your cologne and all this sort of thing. I mean, in my opinion, the deer is going to win you, or hog, if you're downwind, no matter what you do. But you see these gadgets these guys will have screwed into the tree that's supposed to eliminate your scent. They're on TV, and deer comes out there and gets all antsy and leaves, and they say, he knew something was up, but he didn't smell me. Yes, he did. He smelled you, that's why he left. So there's no gauge that's going to keep a deer and hog from smelling you. You try to stay clean as you can. I heard, I think it was Fred Asbell had a thing one time that, like, if you're not clean and as scent free as you possibly can be, your scent wave may be like this. I mean, it'll be pretty wide. But if you've done everything you can to be scent free, and it's still going to smell you if you're downwind, maybe that. It narrows the width of your scent band, if that makes any sense with the wind blowing. But well, here's what I do. I wash my clothes separate from the other clothes. I wash them with Arm & Hammer no scented stuff, and because my hunting clothes will get sweatier and nastier than my regular clothes, so I can't just, they got to get cleaned, So I wash them in that. Take a bath in there, some kind of green soap you buy at Walmart that don't have a smell. It's called HS something. It's a little in a green bottle. I use that, or before that stuff came out, I used plain ivory soap. It didn't have a scent to it. I use that as well. Old people used to say that ivory soap would help keep chiggers off of you too. I don't know of anything to that, but anyway, I used ivory soap. My clothes I wash in that. I don't put them in a bounce in the dryer with them or nothing like that. I keep them in a room. I have a room, Miss Tammy calls it a junk room, but it's full of some priceless stuff in my opinion. But in the closet that's in that room, it's an extra bedroom. I have all my hunting stuff hanging in there. And so, I don't know that helps. I don't keep them in bags or nothing like that. And I try to keep them as clean as possible. Like today is the deer season came in Saturday. Today is Tuesday. And this afternoon will be my first chance to go hunting. And I'm going to take it, Lord willing, of this year. And I'll have my ghillie suit, my kill suit. It's been in the closet this whole year. And I'll take it out, and no need to wash it, but I'll take it out and lay it on top of some of these bushes out here and scrub it around and let it air out. I should have already did that this morning. But I don't think it matters that much, simply because, like I said, if you're downwind, you're gonna get smelled. As far as any commercial scents that you buy, I don't use anything like that. I've used, when I was younger, I hunted with a guy that we hunted a lot of pine, planted pine. A lot of the management areas we hunted back then were planted pines, timber company land. You could buy, there was one tract that was 10,000 acres called Dial's Pasture. And you could buy, either from Rayonier or Union Camp, pass for $8 and hunt that 10,000 acres. And but it was all pines and very, very few oak trees in it. But we used turpentine. And it had get a little bottle of turpentine. It was pretty strong. You didn't have to put much on you. And I don't know if it made that much difference. I got smelled when the wind was wrong. But anyway, we did use that. I've used... I used to use Ben Lee tarsal glands. You could buy them in a little pack. It had a tarsal gland that was freeze dried and a bottle of lure. You put it in a little plastic thing and pour the lure in there, and it would hydrate. And I've killed 2 bucks where I mean, I think the deer were coming through anyway, but I hung them on a scrape I had made, and one of the bucks was about that far from touching his nose to that tarsal gland when I shot him, and the other one came up to it and was starting to circle it to get downwind, and I shot him. And I mean, like I said, they were already coming through that little. I was on a white oak, hunting a little white oak flat, and they could have got a shot at them anyway, but that scrape put them right there, like less than 10 yards. At Ossabaw Island once I had some Tink 69, and I put it on a tree and killed 2 bucks in 3 minutes. Both of them came and was almost touching their nose to that tree right there. And I've used that stuff a whole bunch of times other than that, and I never spooked a deer with it, but it didn't put them in my lap either. I once had a spike that came in, and I'd already killed a small buck, so I couldn't shoot him, and I think I'd have had to holler at him to run him off. He came in there sniffing that Tink 69, and he didn't want to leave. But I don't think there's no magical scent that's going to make you successful. I use scent when I'm hunting in a flow area. Say I'm a funnel, and I got just gaps that I can shoot in. I won't walk all the way to the gap, but I'll sling the scent bottle, you know, try to sling some out there, not to attract the deer, but to hopefully make him stop in the gap so I can get a shot. So I do that. But you know, I wear rubber. I believe rubber boots help a whole lot. I've walked so many times through areas and had deer cross my scent trail. I mean, like if you walk into a feed tree and there are deer pouring to it from all sides, I've had deer walk where I walked and not alarm. And hogs too, but the rubber boots help. And I actually believe that scouting with rubber boots on keeps the scent down in the area. Every time you go in a place scouting, if you don't have rubber boots and if you tear through thick stuff and handling stuff with your hands, you're leaving scent behind. And so, and we only be scent conscious whenever we're hunting, but when you're scouting, if you planning on coming back tomorrow, you done found this hot tree right here, you don't want to scent it up because deer gonna come in there this evening, smell where you've been and spook and may not be in there tomorrow. When I go to a tree, a feed tree to hunt it, if I go like this afternoon, I'm going to a hot tree this afternoon. We've already walked, I bet you 40 miles in pre-season trying to line up a bunch of trees, and I got more places than I can hunt found. But I'm gonna go to one this afternoon, and I want it to be, I'm not using no scents, I'm not using nothing. I want it to be exactly today like it was yesterday, when hopefully the deer came through there feeding, and maybe they do the same thing today, and we're gonna take old swamp music right here and try to run an arrow through him. But that's my thoughts on scent control. I mean, you can, you know, if you can smell yourself, the deer can smell you. And I've seen people go to deer camp and not take a bath for 3 days. So I'm at deer camp, it don't matter. Well, if you want to kill some deer, it does matter, and if you want to have some personal hygiene around your friends, it matters as well. So, but there's no recipe for perfect scent control, in my opinion. You can buy all them clothes, you can buy all that stuff, and if you're downwind, in my opinion, the deer will smell you. It's really just that simple. It may narrow your scent band if you got all that stuff on, but I don't think it eliminates it. And I mean, I simply don't. And maybe you spray some stuff on there and you don't smell the human scent, but that stuff has probably got a smell. It don't have to be human scent. It can be different than what he smelled yesterday in there, and it's going to alarm him, or at least draw his attention. So there you have it. That's my thoughts on scent. You can, you know, you want to use common sense, hunt to win. And that's one thing that I love. If you've been watching, you know I'm going to ground hunt this year. And I got 2 ladder stands, and one of them still laying right over there. I've not even put it in the woods. And well, actually I got 1 ladder stand. The other one I gave away. I got 1 ladder stand right there, and I may not use it. I mean, I really like this ground hunting. But the advantage to this ground hunting is, if I'm sitting there and it gets an hour before dark and all of a sudden the wind shifts, I don't mean swirls, I mean it shifts, it changes, I can grab up and move in like a second with no effort. Whereas in that tree, you're going to keep sitting there. I had a really good encounter with a mature buck last year. He came by me at 3 yards, and had I stayed where I originally sat that afternoon, I wouldn't have never saw him, because the wind was blowing in there, and it changed. The wind changed, in other words, and started blowing where I expected him to come from. I shifted to a crosswind, and he came by me at 3 yards. I mean, it was a really good hunt, really close call. So being mobile is a good thing. I mean, hunting feed trees, especially when I can tell you, you can plan for winds. I've actually climbed in the evenings with a bad wind, knowing that by deer time, when the sun dropped a little bit, the wind was going to shift to my advantage. And so I've climbed trees with a bad wind before, knowing that it would shift at deer time, and it did. And the way you learn that is by when you hunt. It was places that I hunt a pretty good bit, you know. When you go, like this afternoon, I'll be hunting a new spot I've not hunted on the ground, and I've hunted close to there before out of a tree. But when I go there this evening, I'll be on the southwest side of the tree, and so I'll pay attention, and hopefully it's perfect when I set up. And if it shifts right at dark, right at deer time, or you know, that last hour, then I'll take note of that. And I'll make sure. That's one thing I do now when I'm scouting for ground hunting places. I'll try to pick 3 or 4, you know, different wind directions, and something that I can get up and go to really quick. And because you can do it quiet. It ain't like you're climbing down a tree making all kind of racket, and then you climb up and 10 minutes later it's dark. You can do all this shifting pretty quick. And so I'm really excited about ground hunting. But that's what my thoughts on scent control. There's nothing magical about it. I've bought scents before. There's one scent I bought, and I can't remember. It's got a thing that says golden estrus on it, and it's a little camouflage little bottle like this that comes with a bottle you pour in there, and on the bottom it has a little loop in the spout. Daisy, come here, come here, and it drips only in the daytime. And I bought some. They were on sale after the season. The next year I put them out on the trees, and I had trail cameras. And I put trail cameras on them just to see if that's, you know, see if the scent worked or not. And one of them I put in there the second morning. There were 3 different bucks came to that scrape that I made. Then the next morning, two of the same bucks came back, and then the next morning, 1 of the bucks came back. And I did that a couple of times with pretty much those same results. So, you know, those scents, I mean, the deer, like I said, the deer were probably coming through there. It didn't draw them from the next county, but it put them right there in the spot. And if you're hunting in a pretty good thick area, you know, you may want to use some scent like that and try it out. But with I don't fool with the trail cameras anymore. But some of you trail camera addicts, be something for you to play with, and you could learn a lot with that trail camera, playing with scents like that. So, but I don't play with them in a spot I'm hunting today. I put them in places that I probably wasn't gonna hunt anyway. So that's my thoughts on the scents there. No gadget's going to make you successful. Feet on the ground and smart, common sense hunting will make you successful after these deer and hogs. A hog, in my opinion, a hog has a far, far superior nose than a deer. I mean, way, way, way better. And also, in my opinion, a big mature boar hog that's by himself, that ain't with a rutting sow, is probably the hardest critter to kill in South Georgia, other than a gobbler without a blind. Because they are sharp and they don't take chances. Well, if he's got a sow with him, he'll be distracted, but if he's by himself, he's a pretty sharp critter. So thank y'all for watching my videos. Like I said, Lord willing, we're going to get after him this afternoon. And we're going to be hunting, Lord willing, pretty hard the next 7 or 8 days. And we get tired, we might go fishing one day. Mostly evening hunting. We're going to do some vacationing, and in the morning time, I'll be cooking breakfast and hanging out with my 2 ladies, Miss Tammy and Miss Daisy, and we'll be chilling, and then hunt in the afternoons. So y'all, I look forward to posting those videos, and hopefully we'll have old swamp music here laying across something that we're going to put in the freezer. Y'all keep the good Lord first, and have a good, safe season. And the beauty of my hunt is I could fall out of where I'm sitting right now, and I'm old. It'll take a little bit to get up because I'm old, but not because I got hurt. Y'all keep the good Lord first. See y'all on the next video.